Under the Radar, bringing movies and people together, one frame at a time. Hey guys, I'm Randy Unger, and it's a special edition of Under the Radar, bringing movies and people together, one frame at a time. And I have a very special collection of talent right now. We have the filmmakers and one of the stars of the new supernatural thriller, The Beast Within. We have Alex Farrell, who is the director and co-writer. And next to him is Greer Ellison, co-writer as well. And of course, here we have the wonderful star of the film, Miss Kaylin Springle. Hey guys, how's it going?
Very good. Thanks
Yeah,
for
good
having
mate.
us, Randy.
It's nice to meet you.
Of course, of course. So the film is very different. It's very dark. It's very well made. I just want to start off with Alex and Greer. How did the project originally come about?
Well, it was about 3.5 years ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We are huge fans of the monster space and horror especially, and we wanted to make we wanted to make a horror film. We wanted to make a monster film, but we didn't want to make a monster film like you'd seen before. We wanted to bring something true to the story, right? And being a documentarian for the majority of my film career, we wanted to touch upon subjects which were, I guess,
Yeah, we wanted the film to be very grounded in reality, but also have this kind of fairy tale quality to it, and to be a serious monster movie, not kind of your slapstick dog soldiers, which we love, by the way, but we wanted to try and do something a little bit different within the genre.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and it's like I said, it's very unique and it's very mysterious too. Like you don't know what's going on until the very end. And even at the end, I was a little stumped. But yeah, it was very cool. Kaylin, I know you're obviously a very young actress. What was it like working on this film? Was it overwhelming? Did you have a good time?
I had a good time. Like everyone's there to support me, and if I ever needed anything to chat, I was there. But as being the youngest on the set, it's like I didn't have anyone. Like I do have people to talk to, but like at least I had my twin sister there, so like we could relate to each other and we could talk to each other on how we feel from. Oh, yeah.
Was it easy for you though to be on set, or were there some challenges? I'm sure there were some challenges you faced, and as well as your education. Did you have a tutor?
Yeah, I do have a tutor. So we like had to sometimes if I had to step off set and I'd have to. It's like it is quite challenging with doing all the tutoring and acting and very emotional and deep like scenes that is quite hard from going from a very deep scene right straight into learning. But as I said, you have people to talk to and they're there to support you. So
tackled it brilliantly, Kaylin.
Yes.
Yeah, it also helped that there was lots of animals on set.
Yeah.
So if we ever lost Kaylin and her sister, we'd head over
To the
to
goats.
to the animal pens. Yeah.
Oh wow, you're a supporting cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex and Greer, what were some challenges you guys faced on set? I'm sure there were plenty.
I think on the performance level, there was never any challenges because I mean, Kaylin, James, Ashley, and Kit were just unbelievably talented and so invested. But I think Kaylin, with you and I, it was always about making sure to protecting you. You were so young. You were 10 when we shot this film, and it's a very complex subject, right? And it was always about once I opened a wound with Kaylin, right, when we're going into a take and we had to get their emotion, making sure we closed it and protecting your psyche at the end of the day, and making sure that no wounds were left, no wounds were left open at the end of each scene. Don't work with goats and pigs because they're always making noise.
It's like, yeah, don't work with children, animals, and don't shoot a horror film in the middle of the hottest summer ever recorded.
Gosh, that's wow. Where was this film shot, by the way? It's a beautiful location. The house is gorgeous. Talk a little bit about the location.
Yeah, well, we drove, I would say, the majority of England trying to find the location for this script. was very important to us that it remained timeless, that it also had an Americana vibe, and you couldn't quite place the geography, like, you know what I mean? And so we eventually end up shooting in Yorkshire, middle of nowhere Yorkshire, and we scouted that area once we found it for a good month or so, really picking out some of the greatest locations there were. And you'll see there's a viaduct in the film as the car is driving under it, and that's where the Hot Walks Express crosses
Oh,
actually in
wow.
Harry Potter movies. And yeah, we fought for that location pretty hard, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
That's awesome, and a very different genre of the Harry Potter films. Definitely not a supernatural thriller horror film. So guys, I'm curious, were there any filmmaker influences? Because there's a lot of genre bending going on. You've got horror, drama here. You've got family drama. Were there any like filmmaker influences for you? Any other films that have impacted this film at all?
I mean, I think when we were writing it, we just sat down and watched so many horror films, ranging, from the classics, Shining, right through to more kind of modern horror like Hereditary and The Witch. And really, we kind of looked at all the elements that we liked from those ones and kind of cherry picked, and then figured out how could we make them our own, and how could we put our own sort of spin on this.
Because you're absolutely right, Randy. It does have latitudes, right? It's a home invasion film, part of it. It's a creature feature for part of it. It's fantastical, through the eyes of Willow. And it was just cherry picking what makes those films great. And one of the ones that Don't Breathe, Sam Raimi's Don't Breathe, how the silence can be so terrifying. Yeah, we cherry picked for some of our favorite films and sort of.
Yeah, and I think it was like when we were writing it was like, how much of this can we do off screen? We hold back with the reveal of Kit for quite a while, and how much can be whispers behind closed doors. How can we do this with little dialogue, just with the imagery? How can we tell the story in the most kind of claustrophobic and in the shadows, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, the whole film, I mean, the dialogue is very minimal. There's a lot of visuals that are kind of informing the story, which is nice. I really appreciate that. It's a film that is firmly grounded in atmosphere, right? So yeah, you guys achieved a really good a great tone with this film.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Kaylin, any favorite memories from the shoot? Anything that stands out for you?
I have a lot of memories from this shoot. One of my favorite ones was, well, of course, the animals. Like there was a horse there, and I used to like play with the horse, and there was the puppy too.
Oh,
Yeah.
One of my other favorite was lunchtime, because we used to play football at lunchtime, and I remember this one bounce. Well, I don't know if you were allowed one bounce. I wasn't the best, but I'm better now, and it's really fun. And also, just people were just so fun to hang around. So I have loads of fun memories.
Are your friends jealous of you being in a big budget movie like this?
I don't think they're jealous of me at all. I think they support me more. Like, if I had like a tough day filming, I'd go, oh, I had a tough day, and they would support me. So I don't think they're jealous at all. I think they really support me through what I do. And yeah.
I'm happy to hear that. That's very supportive friends you've got there. What do you hope audiences take away from the film, ultimately?
A conversation. I hope that it opens up a window for conversations. And I think everyone will experience this film differently. We saw it last night at the premiere. And I hope it's a vehicle for a conversation. I hope it's done. Yeah.
Great. And I also wanted to touch on the visual effects. There's some, without giving much away, there's some creature effects here, some transformations that kind of reminded me a bit of American Werewolf in London. So guys, talk a little bit about the creation of the special effects. How hard was that to pull off? Because it looked great. And I just want to know a little bit more about that.
We had a fantastic designer, Christian Mattel from KMFX, who built the beast for us. And we did want to keep it classic. We wanted to have that Landis style beast. It's because it's all ultimately seen through Willow's eyes. It's seen through the eyes of a 10-year-old. So what is it that creature would look like to her? And how do we keep that mythical, but keep it frightening and keep it classic and bring that fairy tale quality to it? And I mean, when that thing stepped on set for the first time, it was fully animatronic. It was about 7.5 foot tall, and it was fantastic. I think the guys did an incredible job. They really captured the vision.
The only issue was actually talking to the actor when he was in the suit.
Yeah,
it was kind of hard to hear.
Yeah.
Kaylin, what was it like interacting with the Beast?
Well, I when I first met the Beast, since it was animatronic, I was allowed to like play with the control, so I wasn't that scared of it. Like Griff said just before, he couldn't really hear, so I had to shout everything at him. So I had to. So if someone said, "Okay, Kaylin, he can put you down now," I'd have to tell him, "Put me down," and then he would put me down. So I wasn't really scared of the Beast. I only like was scared when it was, filming. But I was like high-fiving the Beast. I was playing with the Beast. It was really
That's cool. All right. I like that. High-fiving the monster. I love it. You don't hear that often. And speaking of the monster, you've got a great actor here as well, Kit Harington. Real quick, I know he's not on this call today, but what was it like working with Kit, guys?
It was a dream come true, to be honest. As a debut director with a star like Kit, it could have been intimidating, but it wasn't. He was just so accommodating. He's just wonderful. He's become a dear friend of mine. And and he invested so much of his heart and his soul into this film, and that is without question evident in his performance. I think this is Kit Harington as you've never seen him before.
Right. Yeah,
Terrifying.
it's a very different side of him. It's a very good performance. And you too, Kaylin, fantastic performance as well. And I know, again, you're very young, so I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Your career seems to be going off to a good start, so congratulations on that. Alex and Greer, congratulations on the film. You've crafted a wonderful combination of genres, a lovely mix of really good emotions here. So it's a wonderful film. And I just want to thank all of you for taking the time today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you.
You too, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, guys, I'm Randy Unger. This has been Unger the Radar, bringing movies and people together, one frame at a time. We'll see you next time. Take care. Hey guys, I'm Randy Unger, and this is a very special edition of Unger the Radar, bringing movies and people together one frame at a time. And with me today, I have the incredible cast and filmmaker of the new drama, The Way We Speak. We've got writer-director Ian Ebright and actors Patrick Fabian, Diana Coconubo, and Kaylee Rose. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us, man.
Anytime, anytime. So I watched the film last night. Serious stuff, I must say. Really, job well done across the board here. I just want to start with Ian. I know that this film, it came from a painful place, but if you could just talk real quick about the origin and hopefully the healing process of bringing the story to the screen.
Yeah. So Origin was a very sick dad, and at least a growing imperfect awareness of what I didn't get. As I would say, my dad never told me who he was or who I was, and I know that I needed that. So there was some anticipatory grief in the writing of it because he hadn't passed yet. And then following the writing of the script, he and my only sibling and mom passed away. So it became this weird art informing life thing. And the second part of your question, refresh me on, was the healing process.
Yeah, the healing.
What springs to mind is what my wife said. I became kind of the black sheep of the family, not in any sort of extreme way, but as my language around faith changed, from my upbringing, and my politics changed. I was still welcome in the house, but it was weird, as a lot of artists find in the family. It's like, what are you now?
Mhm.
And my wife told me when we were making this, she's like, you seem like freed up to make this. This was when I was working with Patrick and Kaylee and Deanna. And she was like, I don't know if you would have felt comfortable making this when your, family were still here, because they would have seen it, even though it wasn't and isn't this film, as kind of taking shots. It's not a film that's trying to punch, but I don't think we also necessarily pull any punches. So I think in a weird way, that kind of encapsulates the healing process, which just felt like, I was the youngest brother.
Mm.
I had two older men in the house, and feeling like, I don't know, I'm the only adult that's left. So I'm gonna just kind of explore things with some, great talents and a great crew. And yeah, it felt a little bit like having, like, big kid pants on for the first time. As weird as that sounds at middle age, those of us with younger siblings know you're somehow always in people's shadow, even if you love them like crazy. So yeah, it arrived at a time where the themes were very much what I was experiencing. So it was a really, there are much less healthy lifelines in terms of going through grief than having a film to make.
Well, I'm glad it was a therapeutic experience for you. And yeah, it's just a really special film. I can tell it's from the heart. So
Thank you.
yeah, for sure. So the actors, how did you guys get involved with this project? Diana.
Yeah, I auditioned for it at the time I was in New Hampshire, and we had the call back. And next thing I know, I'm flying to Portland.
Nice.
Never been there before. Yeah, it all happened really quickly, at least for my experience as Claire. It was a very condensed time period.
And you play a character who's obviously not well physically. Did you kind of tap into any personal experiences, people that you knew or that you know? Did you use any of that to inform your character?
Yes, yes. I mean, my roommate survived. She's a cancer survivor. And so I experienced that with her head on and very much in a tight space. So that was informative because, she just had a very positive outlook, and she wasn't going to let cancer, ruin her good time. So I think similarly, Claire walks that fine line of, not feeling well, yes, not necessarily wanting to be there, but also able to masquerade in a way.
Right. Yeah, so basically fragile, but at the same time, kind of a quiet strength. So that definitely came through.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Kaylee, how about you? How'd you get on board?
I auditioned with like a huge debate scene. So it was a lot of pressure to try to memorize all of that and make it convincing, with only like a tiny aperture view into like what was my larger argument? Like what kind of believer am I? What kind of woman am I? What kind of author am I? Like trying to nail that in an audition with a lot of text was kind of intimidating. And then I got a call back, and I was in Mexico, and I remember I got on, Ian, I don't know if you remember this, but I got on and they were like, hey, we want to see if you can do the debate scene again, because they're in my email, the callbacks was a different side. It was a side with Simon, like meeting Simon, which I don't know if you remember from the film, but is like pretty flirtatious and pretty full of vitality from both of them. And it's a different tenor. And but that was the side for the callback. And then Ian was like, I don't know, do you mind if we kind of do the debate again? And like I was like, let me get my Hamlet monologue ready. And like I was like, I'm sorry, brother, I don't have it. And I was like, oh, I fucking blew it. I told my agent, I called my agent afterwards, and I was like, ugh! And then he like called me 10 minutes later back, and he was like, no, you booked it, you're good. And so it was a sweet moment of like being like, oh man, it didn't matter that I didn't like check boxes that are a little bit asinine sometimes, like she's not wearing pantyhose and she's not in a dress, we can't cast her in the musical. But it just felt like it was more like let's find our Sarah, let's find like the person that is going to be a worthwhile opponent to Simon and a correct foil for the very like the secret star of the show, who's Claire.
Yeah, and it's a very dialogue heavy film, and you recite each line perfect, like it's like a machine almost, like it's almost too good. So I just want to commend you on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, the debate scenes they're pretty intense. So I'm really happy to have seen that. Patrick, you are obviously a seasoned thespian. What was it like? What was your approach to this role? What attracted you to the part?
First of all, I appreciate the word seasoned, well chosen.
Right.
Uh, you know, it's about something.
Hmm.
Ian is trying to talk about something.
Hmm.
And I'll be honest, when I first read through the script, I wasn't sure exactly what it was he was talking about, but I knew he was trying.
Mhm.
And my job isn't to know. My job is to discover and help discover, right? To help unearth, illuminate, that sort of notion. And so that appealed to me without a doubt. And we got on the phone and started talking about it, exchange of ideas and whatnot. And honestly, I remember talking to him, and he also was like, well, yeah, it's kind of about this. I think it might be about this, but he also was like, I'm not sure it's about either, but it came out of me, and I love that passion. So you sign on board with passion like that, and you say, great, lead me. Let's see where we go. And then we end up, at a table read in Portland. We're all assembled, and I meet, Kaylee for the first time, and I meet Deanna for the first time, and I meet Ian for the first time, and there we are. Now we got this thing, and this thing that was in his head that he put on the page. Boom! I love sitting around that table that first time, reading it aloud, no pressure, words only. What's going on? And the words had life. There was a river of spirit that was moving right there. And at that point, you're like, well, now it's just practical nuts and bolts. Everybody department, how are we going to harness this river a little bit so somebody else can go take a ride on it?
So we're on the second floor, and next to us is like a jazzercise thing. So in like almost like a cliche like SNL skit, like it feels like the walls are vibrating with bass. And yet, none of us, as Patrick just said, none of us have like met each other. And by the time we get to the last scene, I look over at Deanna. I'm tearing up. I think Deanna was tearing up. I mean, these things that you can't, sort of have an insurance policy against in the audition. You're still making a huge bet on character and taste and judgment, all these things. You're like, I hope it's there. And then we get these people, and like the room's vibrating, but it's just text on a page until you have actors like these three who are, despite the distractions. I mean, and I've rewritten the thing 50 times by then, and like I'm teary. I feel like I'm hearing it for the first time. So it's what Patrick is saying and adding on to it. It's, yeah, you watch movies like Moonlight or something. There's certain films I see every once in a while where I'm like, everybody brought their A game, but that thing has pixie dust. And, of course I'm biased to this, but I feel that way about ours because, and to me, the pixie dust is these intangibles of people with character and taste and expertise. And they made the text come alive. They're the ones that get the credit for making it special.
And that leads me to my next question. Collaboration. I can tell just from this Zoom call that that's very important to you guys. Going into the film, how important is teamwork and collaboration, Deanna?
I mean, it's everything. It
Right.
really is. Otherwise, it's you against you. There's no energy, there's no flow. So we were really lucky to have Ian and each other, in fact. Everybody actually. I mean, obviously the entire crew. I mean, there's so many more people than just the four of us who laid everything out on the line. I think we shot in 18 days. It was a very intense, tight schedule, and everybody showed up, and kudos to everyone in Portland. I mean, the entire crew is just so lovely and excited. That's what I found to be thrilling. But yeah, without the collaboration, I don't think we would have accomplished what we all did, because things changed in the moment. We're shooting maybe there's a word or there's something that just isn't quite hitting right, and Ian was just always so available and open to change for what I think was the best cumulative effect.
And that's very, very apparent. So kudos to all of you guys. Kaylee, a question for you. You were on that stage with Patrick. How intimidating was that? Or was it easy breezy for you to just be on that stage and spouting all those one-liners and making your argument? What was that experience like for you?
I'm like right back there. I'm remembering it. I, as a theater actor and as a, like, this was my first feature film. Like, it's not like I've done like a lot of little stuff and this is the first big thing. Like, this is kind of the first thing. And I was so terrified of being underprepared because I don't know. I don't know what a set is. I don't know. And so I was just like, I know my lines, and Patrick Fabian, everyone's talking about what a big deal he is, but like I had purposely not watched Better Call Saul because Breaking Bad like ruined me. So I also get, we all get addicted to our shows, so I couldn't fall for another man. And but I remember standing there and being like, oh my gosh, my nerves are serving Sarah so much. Like, this is her first debate. Like, and she comes off stage and Patrick's character is like, Simon's like, hey, you'll get it next time. And her being like, I thought I did pretty well. Like, I love, because she does fine. But she's green. And like, I was just like, hey, you're green, she's green, just lean in. And aren't we lucky as hell that this big star is the nicest man ever?
I love it. That's awesome. So it's like art imitating life, basically. So very cool. Patrick, how much of Simon is in you? How much of his character is ingrained in your actual personality and behavior, would you say?
Throughout my seasoned body of work, I'm not a character actor. I don't know if you've noticed that. I'm so there's a lot of Simon in me, without a doubt, and that also comes freighted with just the facts that I'm a white guy over 50.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the cumulative benefits of being that guy, which Simon also possesses.
Mm-hmm.
And that sense of entitlement, and that sense of it's my turn, and it's a sense of wanting to win and being top dog. And if you're not, then you're nothing, then everything's worthless. And it's got those blinders on as you pursue whatever it is. What I like about the film is that those blinders get peeled away and leaves him at a place where he's vulnerable, and maybe he's not sure that his choices that he's made throughout his life are really worthy of the time spent. What are you going to do with the time left with you? That sort of idea. And that's what I like, the notion that the film talks to. But I can certainly plug into the notion of wanting to use words as weapons, wanting to out-talk your opponent. I got the gift of Irish in me when it comes to that. So if you actually have facts on your side, I'll just dazzle you with bullshit instead. So I think Simon relies on that. Yeah.
Perfect response. And another character of yours who I love was Dr. Lasky in Say by the Bell, The College Years. And there's some similarities here in the academia world and whatnot. But I want to thank you for that performance as well.
Absolutely. Look, let's just say I kissed Kelly Kapowski, and that was enough for my tombstone. So
perfect. All right, so The Way We Speak, it is going to be released on July 23rd in theaters, and I want to thank all of you guys. This was incredible. The movie is really good. It's strong. It means something. It's not, about a superhero or a giant monster attacking a city. It's about human beings, which I love, which I love to review. I love to talk about, and I just want to commend each and every one of you.
Great. Randy, thanks so much. And a reminder that it's also out in VOD on July 20th.
Thank you, sir. There you go. All right, guys. Well, this has been Under the Radar. I'm your host, Randy Unger. Under the Radar, bringing movies and people together, one frame at a time. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.